Hello everyone, and welcome to Reddit Presents r/Idontworkherelady. Posted by user/Kroger4Loca. The time one of them actually got to speak to the manager, and it was my manager. This happened a couple of years ago, but I was reading an Ask Reddit thread that jogged this memory to come up. Anyway, I think it was like 2016-ish and I was working as a receptionist in an office. My boss of the business was actually a very good friend of mine that I had known for a really long time. Anyway, she would occasionally give her employees gift cards to different places to buy some more work attire, as the dress code kept changing as the business did. I took mine and set out to Target. I was in the fitting room trying on some stuff when I hear what sounds like a stern, angry bee talking. When I come out, it is, in fact, a stern angry bee talking. She is standing with, who I assume is her daughter, in front of a mirror that was in the hall of the dressing room areas, but not in the room itself. She's basically railing into this poor girl who can't be more than 13 to 14 about how if she lost weight, clothes might actually look good on her. This lady was actually pretty big herself. Not that that is a bad thing, but hypocrisy and mental abuse is. The poor girl looked defeated and I kinda watched them as I handed my items I didn't want back to the girl working and said something along the lines of "Man, some people suck," in a voice I thought was pretty low. I guess it wasn't. The bee thought the girl working the counter said it at first and started to go after her. I told her I said it because that girl didn't know me and didn't need to lose her job over me. I mean, I'm sure you can guess what happens next. She wants to speak to my manager. I try to whole "I don't work here" thing, but her rebuttal is that I obviously do, am obviously here on my day off, and should still be reprimanded for being rude about a customer to my little friend. Not that I wouldn't be friends with the girl working there, she seemed lovely, but we had never met before, to my knowledge anyway. I'm about to tell her that, when a new idea dawns on me. Yeah, you can talk to my manager, I tell her, getting my phone out. I just have to call her because she isn't here today. Entirely true, my manager was at home that day getting ready for a party I was later attending at her house. I call her, she answers, I say "Hey, I have someone here at Target demanding to speak to you." There is some quite obvious confusion on her end. All I hear is "Okay?" before putting her on speakerphone. I'll be damned if a stranger is going to press my phone against their face. "Okay, you're on speaker." Immediately, B McBeepants starts telling her how awful I am and what I did, and is also adding spice that it's awful that no manager is on the floor to deal with this situation today. My boss started laughing hysterically, which made B Britches even more angry. Well, if you ask for a random person's manager, don't be surprised that they don't work at Target. I lost it at this point, too. I apologized to the nice young lady working the rooms, put my phone to my ear so I can laugh it off with my friend, manager, and start to walk away. Of course, Ben Stein is still yelling at me because I'm awful and I see what I assume is an actual manager coming over to the rooms. So I tell my manager I'll call her back and head back to see what lies she tries to spin and also try to make sure she doesn't accuse fitting room girl of anything. Lo and behold, she was trying to blame that girl and started yelling about that bee, me this time, coming back and I should be punished too. Luckily, the manager saw me and immediately says I have never seen her before in my life. She doesn't work here. Angry lady says she can't deal with her lies anymore, grabs her poor, embarrassed beyond all reason daughter, and is walking away. The manager apologized to me and the employee, but it's not like I ever blamed him. He was super kind. Once I got to my car, I felt bad that I didn't give the daughter the rest of my Target gift card, but I knew there was no way I could have. So I called my manager back and just about died laughing at the situation. r/Idontworkherelady. Posted by user/Locan89. I don't care if you can't find who you're looking for, this man is literally dying. So, a weird thing that happened the other day that I'm still amazed at. I'm a vigil volunteer at the local hospice center. For those that don't know, a hospice center is where elderly people with medical issues go to live out their days, sort of like a nursing home but more medically oriented. Individual volunteer is a volunteer there that gets called in to comfort the elderly and their families when the doctors can tell that the patient is in their final few days of life. Basically, there's a group of us who take turns and shifts as we're able to so that the patient isn't alone during this time, or to help the family with any questions they have, or just to comfort them as well. They don't make for great places to volunteer, but it is extremely rewarding for those that don't mind, or at least are more comfortable around death. This particular day, I had just gotten off a 13-hour work shift, and got the call to see if I could volunteer, and I won't lie, at first I said no. The coordinator told me that the man was a Vietnam veteran, though, and being a veteran myself, I decided to suck it up and go in anyway. Veterans tend to help their own when they're able. So I go in, relieve the woman who had been watching him, and we start talking, and learn we were both in the same MOS job during our time in service, and start to share war stories and other life experiences, just basically sharing our lives with each other, which is honestly about 90% of the job. After a few hours, I guess it was probably 7-8 p.m. at this time, a family is being extremely loud in the hallway, to the point that he can't hear me speak, so I closed the door. I guess that the lady of the family sees the door close and came over and threw the door open so hard that it slammed against the wall. We both stare at her, and before I can say anything she starts yelling at me. L is entitled lady. N is nurse. VV is Vietnam vet. L. Excuse me, I can't find my family member. I don't remember who, so you need to get up and help me, now. Me, calmly, at first, because it's somewhat reasonable that she'd think I worked here because I wore khakis and a button-down shirt, and I also remembered what some Redditors thought of my last title situation. Ma'am, I can't help you find anyone, you need to find a nurse for that. I also need you to keep your voice down, as this is a medical facility and you're probably disturbing other patients. L. I don't care if I'm disturbing anyone, I need to find my family member, and you and the rest of the staff are useless. Okay, I'll give her credit here, there are a few useless nursing assistants that like to hide instead of answering lights and helping patients known for giving them trouble, but on the whole it's actually a pretty good place. I said. Ma'am, I understand you're frustrated, but unless they've moved your family member, just go to their last room. I'm sure they're still there, since patients haven't been able to move rooms or even been able to get out of their rooms at the same time because of the pandemic. L. Don't you think I've tried that? They're not where they were last year. VV. You haven't visited them in a year? Well, hell, they probably took you off the visitors list. I sure as hell would if I was them. I'd take your ass off my wheel too. Gotta love elderly veterans, lol, they don't give a fuck. If you haven't noticed, we're trying to have a conversation, so I need you to get your loud ass out of my room. Unknown to me or L, he hit the button for the light above the door, signaling a nurse that he needs help at this point. L. Just because you're old doesn't mean you can talk to me like that. I don't give a damn even if you're dying, you have no risk. Me and VV. At the same time, and cutting L off. Well, that's good because he, VV, I, will probably be dead by this time tomorrow. At this point, the charge nurse, aka head of the hospice at this time, walked up and heard us say this and was, understandably, immediately mad at me for bringing this up in that way, and stormed past L and into the room, immediately spinning on me. N. What do you think you're doing? I said, trying to get this entitled bitch to leave? Yeah, I was mad and started cursing at this point. Nurse looks like she's about to say something, but VV cuts in. This woman is trying to get him to leave me alone so he can go do God knows what for her, and told me she doesn't care if I live or die. So, maybe not her exact words, but I'm not gonna blame a then soon to be, and now actually is, dead man for embellishing a little to get some problem lady out of his room during his final hours. Nurse, turning to Karen, ma'am, is this true? I'm going to need you to get back to the front desk and wait for a nurse to help you. Entitled lady. We've been here for 10 minutes already with no help, I'm not waiting any longer. Nurse. Well, we try to have the front desk staffed 24/7, but with the virus we're understaffed and sometimes the nurses have to leave to help out a patient or another nurse. Since there's no one there, let's go back to the front desk and see if I can help you. Entitled Lady. No, you can help me now. I demand to know where, family member, is right this second. Nurse, her face immediately going cold. Family member, died 8 months ago and was cremated soon after because her family would not return our calls. You can check the morgue for her ashes, but I doubt they've saved them for this long. Entitled Lady looked shocked at this news, and honestly I think what a horrible person to her family member. She may have been kicked in at this point, and I think she may have possibly started to cry. I'm not sure, but she definitely went quiet and walked back to her family, with a charge nurse apologizing to Vietnam vet and following her down the hallway. I don't know what happened to them after that, and honestly I didn't care enough to try to find out. I just couldn't believe that person's actions. I do feel a little sorry for the family since I don't know the reasons there was such a long time span between visits, but no matter the reason, it doesn't excuse walking into a dying man's room and causing a scene, making him yell at you. Seriously, who does that? Edit. Thanks for all the love everyone, and for the awards as well. A few have asked how to volunteer, and while I personally found out about this through a volunteer website, most hospices should have a volunteer coordinator, so you can just call and ask to speak to them. As for what was wrong with Vivi or how he ended up passing, I'm sorry to say that I have no idea. While he seemed like a pretty awesome guy, I've learned that you have to keep a certain emotional distance because, well, you're there because the person is dying. You can't let yourself get too attached. I can ask for anyone interested next time I get called in, but I'm not too sure when that will be. Also, I forgot TLDR. So Karen tried to find family member at hospice. Nurses don't help her immediately because they have more important shit to do. Karen barges in on man expected to die very soon. Karen makes a huge scene in said man's room. Karen is told family member has been dead for months now. Thank you for watching today's video. I hope you liked it. Comment down below what do you think about the story or what videos you want to watch more so I could deliver them to you. Subscribe with the notification bell for quick rings. It will help me grow this small community. Take care, and keep safe.